Hello and welcome my partners in crime. Welcome to Murder Analysed. I'm Christina Moore. Thank you for joining me today. Really appreciate it. Now this next case. This is a paedophile who went abroad to sexually abuse children and who's just been jailed to 21 years, right, in prison for it. Now we've had other cases, haven't we, on this? We've done other cases on paedophiles that go abroad because they think it's easier, the laws are easier, they can get away with it. Countries where there might be poverty and stuff, where they can manipulate the system to get what they want, and this man was that. So he was jailed. I think he was travelling to other countries for sexually abusing children, advising others on how to do it. Now we've had this, we've had the paedophile manual, you know, designed by another paedophile who actually was killed in prison. So we've had all this before, right? And now I think when the last one did it, I think he lasted about 3 years in prison, if that, and was murdered. So there's no deterrent here, is there then? So these people know exactly what's going to happen to them the minute they go into prison, but it's no deterrent because they think they know better and that they will get away with it. There's no stopping these people, right? There really isn't. Now this man, this David Mould, he was 68 from Seaford, East Sussex. So it's a East Sussex case, this, but it's not really, because he was probably a paedophile here and everything else, but what he would do was go abroad and help others do the same thing, to abuse very, very young children. Very young children. So this case has got a warning out with it. So if this case is not for you, there's plenty more on Murder Analysed that does not deal with offences against children. Please have a look through and see what you think, and please subscribe, because I always forget to say it. Please subscribe, hit the like button, hit the notification bell, and tell people about the cases. I much appreciate it. If you'd like to join our members, you can join that. That's my partners in crime, and you can join that, and you get videos and stuff on there, behind the scenes stuff as well. So let's get on. So this David Mould, now he was 68 years old, and he travelled between the Philippines and Nepal between April 2018 and May 2019, literally for the sole reason to sexually assault children and exploit children, and then make up sort of like a holiday guide, would we say, or could we say, for other paedophiles to do the same. That's what he did. That's his whole life's ambition, this man. So he was jailed very recently, and I'll put the dates up on slides and stuff. The date of him being imprisoned is not so important, as a man is definitely in prison. So he was imprisoned for 21 years at Lewes Crown Court. He was also, I think, had an extended license of 7 years as well. He's also banned from 22 countries, from entering 22 countries because of his abuse of children, and also he has a prevention order, so, and a restraining order, which he will be on the register even when he gets out for life. But again, this man, right, is a serial paedophile, right? He tries to do whatever he can to get very young children engaged in this acts of depravity for sexual gain, right? That's it. In his mind, he knew he couldn't get away with it here before he'd get caught. So the best way to do it is to go abroad and hit these countries which he thinks the laws are more lapsed and everything, thinking that he can't be prosecuted. And I've said before, if you do now a crime like this abroad, right, you are a British citizen, which he was, from Sussex, you will be charged the minute you get back on that plane as offences done in that other country, right? That's the law. So there is no way of getting away with these sort of crimes, abusing children, raping children, doing terrible things to children. You will, the minute you hit this soil, be arrested and charged in this country for the acts that you've done abroad. So another one with a nickname on the dark web, right? So of course they use a bloody dark web. It's a nightmare, this dark web, but they use it. And then his nickname was the Trotter. Yes. And on there he would share his images of these children, videotapes, all this stuff of these children being abused, and encourage others then to upload their experiences with children, their abuse of children, their rape of children onto this site, and then disclose really how the best way to do it, to go to these countries, how to get these children, where you need to go, who you need to see, all this stuff. Listen, this is a global thing here, right? Paedophilia is a global thing, and these sort of people like this want to control that globalism by making as many people have access to this material and also to these children as they possibly can. This is what makes this man so dangerous. So it was known by his chats on this site that you could see that he would go to the Philippines or Nepal, to literally smaller areas, smaller towns, rural areas, where he would befriend the locals who had children, giving them gifts of money and stuff, but really in a ruse to get the children. He would buy gifts and all this sort of stuff in this grooming process, grooming the whole family, really, right, unbeknown to this family that the real reason he was there was for their children. It's just shocking, isn't it, really, when you think about it? Really, the mentality of these people, the levels they would go to get their hands on these kids. So as this moderator, I suppose, of this dark website that he had going, he would definitely be making sure that what they now call, isn't it, this sex tourist, because that's what they call them, these paedophile tourists, had access to the same children he may have abused, had access to the families, told them the best areas to go. He wanted this to become so big. He, in this man's mind, not only was he a paedophile, but he was someone that liked this control, so he could be seen as this, I don't know, big man, powerful man in this industry. Well, it is an industry, believe it, there's money made out of this. This is not free, right? People are paying to see this shit on these sites and to add their stuff. It's about money. It's always about money. The abuse is about power, but what he was doing was also about money. Giving him a guide, like a bloody tourist guide to the best places to abuse children. This is what this man did, by making money from it as well, living his best life, really. 21 years, do I think it's enough? No, I don't. But what it has done is also stopped him hitting these countries up, 20 odd countries, 22 countries that he can't go to anymore. He really, not many countries would touch this man, right? You wouldn't get a visa to many countries now with this sort of a record. And will he survive 21 years in prison? Probably not. There's always hope in there, really. So his thing was little boys, right? Very young little boys. And he'd buy toys and he'd buy this, that and the other for them. And I think, he must have been quite IT savvy, because he was encrypting the stuff. It was difficult to find this stuff. But listen, there's teams of police officers out there, right? Units all over the world that work to, break through these encryptions. But I keep saying it, these police officers and all these units and certain officers that have to work within this industry, in this profession, to stop these people, the things they have to see. So they can only usually work on it for about 2 years at a time, because it really does something to your brain, right? To watch all this stuff. These are very young children being raped. They're screaming, right? They're begging for help. They really are. Let's not undermine what's happened to these children here. We can say sexual assault, and I see some people in these videos like they've been hard or they're SA'd. Oh, for God's sake, right? Say what you mean to say. Give the victim some bloody voice, right, when you're doing it. This is about real abuse of real live children being videotaped, filmed, put online for thousands, hundreds of thousands of people to see on the dark web. Then to make a catalogue of it and like a tourist guide to allow other paedophiles to do exactly the same, but probably worse, right? Because all these paedophiles have got their own things they want to do to these kids, right? So let's not beat around the bush on this subject, really, because I just think it's a subject that we have to talk about, has to be out there in the open, and we need to be really quite graphic, I think, on what's really going on. These are very, very young children that are being affected by some serious crime here on a massive scale. And these police officers that do this job have to watch this shit, right? Have to take it in to try and find something in that video that's going to point to where that child is, who that child is, who is the abuser of that child, right? The detail they have to go into in these videos to find the perpetrator here is immense, and the damage that causes to them as a decent human being, right, is also immense. So we have to give them some credit, but we can't keep pushing this stuff under the carpet, not speaking about it, because we don't want to hear the traumatization of a child. Really, it's our duty to get these cases out there and to say this is what's going on, that we should report any sexual violence on children that we even think is going on. It's really important, these cases, in so many ways, but to save a child's life, it's important, right, that we understand the severity of these cases. And I think with these perpetrators like this, these predators, they believe that because they can do a bit of encryption and they can delete and they can do this and they can do that, that they're safe. They're not. It may take years to get them, I'm not going to lie, it may do. But we have also technology now that can find this, break that encryptions. It may take some time, but it can happen. So they're not as safe as they think they are. Now this man was arrested at his home address in Sussex on the 2nd of April 2020 by the National Crime Agency, the NCA. And they did take a variety of different digital equipment and stuff from his home and his work address as well. And for digital evidencing and stuff, because really it takes a long time when you have hundreds and hundreds of thousands of images and stuff that you have to go through and look at to catalogue the abuse that this man did, to put a case forward to the CPS, to get it taken to court in the first place. It takes a lot of work, a lot of officers and a lot of time, right, to do that, a lot of skilled officers to do that. But they done a good job. They got it in the end, what they wanted. Now this was also with the assistance of the Philippine National Bureau of Investigation, and a number of victims was located and was helped, and that really helped. They helped with the identity of that, but also helped with the identity of others, because when they knew what sort of areas they'd gone to, that's when the Filipino police, really, the Philippines, their police force, was then able to, one, because they understand the language and the culture, could talk to these people, because a lot of these people wouldn't have known that their children had been abused. They wouldn't have known it. And the children wouldn't have said, for fear. So they had really had him identified from that, from the stuff that they'd found on the computers. The extent, I suppose, but it was on the dark web that he was found, right? That's how he was first initially found, and then the investigation goes from there. Now from that one initial investigation, obviously there's multiple men now being looked into, because when they hit these sort of sites on the dark web, they get all the information and everything for all the others from all around the world. So, you know, if you are one of these people who ain't had a knock on the door yet, you just may soon. Sooner or later, someone's going to knock on your door, and then you're going to end up in prison, probably, and you're going to end up, you know, the lowest of the low in a prison for what you've done, and they have to live with them consequences, because obviously there is nothing that will deter these people, is there? They know about what happens to paedophiles in prison. They know. They understand that. It doesn't seem to bother them, does it? They still continue to do it. So we've removed one from the dark web. There's thousands more. So please, always think about your children. Never allow anyone into your life unless you know about them, and they're not going to have criminal records and stuff like that, paedophiles, unless they've been caught before, right? Unless they've been caught before, they're going to have a clean record. So it's about you understanding this inner feeling you've got. You know, like people say, I've got a feeling about that, I'm not really sure about that or them. Sometimes you're right, right? And if you're wrong, then it doesn't really matter, does it? You saved your child. People that we allow into our lives and our children's lives and our friends' lives and stuff, people we don't really know, people that don't know the people we know. Sometimes there's a reason why people come into your lives. You could have met them online. This is another big thing, isn't it? We don't know their backgrounds, and not many people online tell the truth, right? They don't. So always try and work out for yourself, is this person good enough to be in my household? Is this person good enough to be near my child? But also tell your children it's okay to speak about it. And when they do tell you that they're uncomfortable in the presence of this person, or this person scares them, or this person said something to them, you should listen. You should listen. Because children do know, you know. Not at first, not in the grooming process. They don't. But the minute that starts, that the difference starts within them, then they know. Some of these kids though, very, very young. Very, very young. So it's about being vigilant, isn't it? It's about understanding our children, understanding what's out there, and this is why we do these cases on Murder Analysed, to make sure you're aware of what's going on. Now, just because this man went abroad didn't mean to say he didn't abuse here, or some of his friends didn't, because in the end they all do. They all do. They can't hold their self back. So listen, this has been a quick case, and I just want to make sure that you understood about these cases and the reason we're doing these cases. I want to put as many of these cases out there as I possibly can to make you aware of what's going on. So, thank you for joining me. Until the next time. Bye-bye.